Sometimes, life places a small decision in front of us. A decision nobody else may ever see. And in that quiet moment, a person's true character is revealed. Not when life is easy. Not when the world is watching. But when hardship whispers, "Take the easy path." This is the story of a poor young man, a wise old sage, and one difficult choice that changed an ordinary life forever. Stay with me until the very end, because this story may change the way you look at struggle, character, and success itself. In a peaceful village surrounded by green fields and distant hills, there lived a poor young man with his mother. Life had never been easy for them. After his father passed away, the young man worked every day doing whatever jobs he could find, carrying grain sacks in the marketplace, chopping firewood, repairing fences, and helping farmers beneath the burning sun. But no matter how hard he worked, money disappeared as quickly as it came. That winter was especially difficult. His mother had fallen sick weeks earlier. Every night her weak cough echoed through the small clay house while he sat beside her helplessly. Some nights there was barely enough rice for one meal. Many times, he quietly pretended he had already eaten so his mother could have the last portion of food. Yet even through hardship, there was something steady about him. He never took advantage of people. He never kept what belonged to someone else. And though life had given him very little, he still lived with a clean heart. His mother often told him, "Difficult times show us who we truly are." Those words stayed deep within him. One afternoon, excitement spread through the village. A wise old sage known across many towns for his wisdom had arrived beneath the great banyan tree near the marketplace. Villagers gathered around him throughout the day asking questions about life, suffering, and success. The young man had been unloading heavy sacks nearby when he overheard people speaking about the sage. Curious, he quietly joined the crowd after finishing his work. The sage spoke calmly. "A person's real wealth is not measured by money, but by the way they live when nobody is watching." The young man listened silently. For some reason, those words remained in his mind long after the gathering ended. The next morning, villagers gathered again before the sage prepared to continue his journey. As the crowd slowly dispersed, the sage called the young man forward. "I need a small favor," the old man said gently. The young man bowed respectfully. The sage handed him a sealed letter wrapped carefully in cloth. "This must be delivered to a wealthy merchant in the next town," he explained. "The journey is long, but important." Then the sage handed him a few travel coins. The young man hesitated. He had never traveled that far alone before. But he respected the sage deeply, and the money could help buy medicine for his mother. So he accepted. Before leaving, the sage quietly said, "The road often reveals things comfort cannot." The words felt strange, but the young man simply nodded and began his journey the following morning. For 2 days he walked through forests, rocky hills, and lonely roads beneath the burning sun. At night he slept beneath trees with his small cloth bag beside him. His feet became sore. His food slowly ran out. But every time exhaustion filled his body, he remembered his mother waiting for him at home. On the third evening, he finally reached a crowded roadside inn where travelers rested before continuing toward the next town. The smell of warm food filled the air. But after counting his remaining coins, he realized he could barely afford a little bread and water. So he sat quietly in one corner of the inn trying to ignore his hunger. A short while later, 2 wealthy traders rushed outside after hearing that one of their horses had broken loose near the road. In the confusion, a small wooden chest wrapped in cloth was left behind beside their table. At first, the young man paid little attention to it. But after several minutes passed and the inn slowly became quiet again, he noticed the chest was still there. Carefully, he looked around. Nobody seemed to remember it. Slowly, he opened the chest just enough to see what was inside. Gold coins. Silver ornaments. and several important trade papers carrying the seal of the wealthy merchant he was traveling to meet. For a moment, his breath stopped. That amount of wealth could change everything. His mother could finally receive proper treatment. Their leaking roof could be repaired before the rains arrived. They would no longer have to worry about food every single day. Nearby, worried voices suddenly rose through the inn. One of the traders had returned and was searching frantically. "Please look carefully," he shouted nervously. "That chest contains important business papers. If it is lost, we are ruined." The young man lowered his eyes toward the chest in his hands. The inn was crowded. No one had seen him pick it up. No one even knew it was with him. He could quietly leave before dawn. And nobody might ever discover the truth. For the first time in many years, life placed comfort directly in front of his suffering. His fingers tightened slightly around the chest. Then slowly, his thoughts drifted to his mother sitting alone in their small house. He remembered the way she lived even during hardship, never taking what belonged to others, never allowing pain to change the kind of person she was. A deep silence settled inside him. Carefully, he closed the chest. Then he stood up and walked toward the frightened trader. "I think this belongs to you," he said quietly. The trader opened the chest and froze. Relief flooded across his face so suddenly that his eyes nearly filled with tears. "You found it?" he whispered in disbelief. The young man simply nodded and returned to his corner without saying another word. That night, despite his hunger, his heart felt peaceful. 2 days later, he finally arrived at the grand home of the wealthy merchant and delivered the sealed letter. The elderly merchant opened it carefully and read it in silence. Then he looked up calmly. "Tell me," the merchant asked, "did anything unusual happen during your journey?" The young man hesitated before mentioning the missing chest at the roadside inn. As he finished speaking, the merchant slowly smiled. "The chest belonged to my traders," the merchant continued. "The sage did not choose you randomly." Then slowly, he revealed the truth. A few days earlier, someone from the village marketplace had spoken to the sage about a poor young man who returned a missing wallet instead of quietly keeping it for himself. The sage became curious. So he contacted the merchant. "For years," the merchant explained, "I searched for someone I could truly trust." He paused for a moment. Many people appear good when life is easy. Then he looked directly into the young man's eyes. But difficult moments reveal what truly lives inside a person. Suddenly everything became clear. The task. The journey. The missing chest. None of it had been an accident. Yet what mattered most was this. Nobody had told him he was being tested. And that was exactly why his choices mattered. The merchant smiled warmly. "If you are willing," he said, "I would like you to work beside me." Tears filled the young man's eyes. Not because of wealth, but because for the first time in his life, someone saw value in his character instead of his poverty. If we look carefully at our lives today, this story still happens everywhere around us. In today's world, many people are tempted to take shortcuts for temporary comfort. Some chase money by hiding the truth. Some break trust thinking nobody will notice. And many believe success matters more than character. But real character is revealed during difficult moments. During moments where nobody may ever know what choice we make. The young man in this story was not rewarded because he was rich, powerful, or talented. He was trusted because even during hardship, he refused to let suffering change the kind of person he was. And that lesson still matters today. Because in the end, money may come and go, but a peaceful heart and a clean conscience stay with a person forever.